This is high-speed chess. That's what you're watching.
So I am here to not really break the news to you guys. You guys probably already know because you guys have been tagging me Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, my email, my phone number even, and Discord. You guys, Jerry, Johnny Beck, Alim Hanila, and you guys should know by now he tested positive. He'd probably be stripped for both his titles. He still has the chance to do the B sample, but as it stands right now, he tested positive, and then it's a really bad situation. He had a fight on Saturday for 3-belt unification, the biggest fight of his life, the biggest fight of his career up to date, and it just kind of fell flat. If you guys are wondering why people are just blowing me up, just me specifically, I'm like the only person people are tagging about this situation. I'll show you guys. I've been kind of promoting Johnny Beck and really invested into his career for a while now, but like if you look up Bud versus Johnny Beck, I'm like maybe like the 13th picture. Like that's literally me right there. So, and this is what, from this year actually, but yeah, I've been promoting the guy and I've been really, investing in his career for a long time now, and I guess that's why when this happened, I'm literally getting tagged like I'm his promoter, manager, or coach or whatever. Guys, by the way, I'm still sick, right? Still sick. I really don't want to be on camera right now. And I'm dressed kind of differently because I have a really busy day. I don't have time to be wearing the typical hoodie and stuff I wear around the house. I have an interview later today, so I'm kind of dressed nicely for you guys today. So let's talk about this a bit. We have a statement from Mike Coppinger, who works for the Ring magazine, Mr. Johnny Beck Alim Hanila. If you don't know Johnny Beck, he is the WBO IBF middleweight 160-pound champion. He is fighting Erislandy Lara for the WBA title. And so the IBF and WBO middleweight champion Johnny Beck Alim Hanila has delivered an adverse analytical finding for performance-enhancing drug meldonium. I hope I'm saying that right. Following a VADA test, sources tell the Ring. As such, the unified belt holders scheduled 3-belt unification versus Lar this Saturday on the Eastside Cruz Lamar Road undercard fell through. Okay. Early Tuesday evening, it was announced Lar will be fighting Johan Gonzalez. Okay. Meldonium has been banned by WADA, right, which is World Anti-Doping Agency, since 2016 after a study in 2015, blah, 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 blah. He has 10 days to request a B sample and try to prove that the test was maybe, wrong, or prove that it was tainted. It's a long process. It's going to be a pretty thorough investigation to see what exactly happened, when it was taken, was it on accident, etc. Right? This is a man's career. So VADA, the WBO, the IBF, there's going to be a lot of different parties coming in here to get to the bottom of this and making sure this doesn't happen in future fights, not only with Johnny Beck but with other fighters, and just try to get to the bottom of this thing, right? So in response, Johnny Beck actually made a tweet. I'm gonna actually read it straight off of his Twitter. He made a tweet saying, "I have always supported clean sport." This was literally like 10 minutes after the news came out. "I've always supported clean sport. You know this well. I was surprised when I read the news. VADA took the first test and said everything was clean. I have not made any changes to my vitamins. I don't know what happened with the second test, so I requested a retest." Yeah, I mean, that's the typical thing a fighter should say. No fighter's gonna be like, "Yeah, hey guys, look, I kind of wanted to cheat, guys. I thought I was gonna get away with it. That's my bad." No fighter's gonna say that. It's the typical fighter response. It was kind of funny. He has like this pin at the top of his page of him, kind of taking a what's his name, a VADA test, and this was a while ago. Or this is probably the one he failed. Actually, I believe this was the one he failed. "I support clean sport. I'm against athletes using doping. We took the VADA test and the results came in yesterday. Everything's clean." Okay. That was November 12th. He's been constantly just promoting this fight, a week away, stuff like that, working, calling out Lara, very, very weird, man. This is a very weird situation from Johnny Beck Alim Hanila, because you know, the type of guy he is, and he's really hungry for these big fights. And I'm thinking, you know, Johnny Beck wouldn't do that, but he did it. Right now, as it stands, he did it. So, you know, I'm not going to argue against the results. There's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there who are going to say he's set up, he was this, he was that. I kept the same energy with Ryan Garcia. I don't really give a damn what Ryan is saying or what his fans are saying. You tested positive. You had another chance. You tested positive again. You know, that's all I really need to see. Like I said, Johnny Beck still has that, you know, that 10-day of request, so he can submit the B sample, in which I believe he will do. But every fighter does that. You know, like I said, nobody's gonna just admit, oh, I'm dirty. No fighter's just gonna be like, there's no point in requesting a B sample. I'm clearly dirty. So, another big thing people have been asking me is, Jerry, well, has he been doping for his entire career? And let's actually take a look into this, right? Let's open up BoxRec for a minute, and we can actually find him in a rating somewhere. Let's go to the middleweight division. But a lot of people ask me, like, Jerry, has he been doping? And let's see where he's fighting, because we know, depending on where you fight, the doping limitations are kind of not as strict, not as tight. So this fight was obviously in the US. The one he was about to fight Lara, that was gonna be in San Antonio. He fought in Kazakhstan, which, you know, they probably just don't have the funding to have an agency like VADA to constantly survey fighters. He fought in Australia, which I believe to be a pretty, you know, decent spot. And he fought in America, America, right? So this guy's really fought his entire career in America. I'm not saying it's impossible that he just, you know, was like, okay, this is a big fight. I want to get a slight advantage. I'm struggling to make weight a bit. I want to get a slight tiny advantage. I'm not saying that's impossible, but I do believe he is a clean fighter for, you know, his entire career. I'm not going to sit here and, you know, judge a guy because this one time he made a big mistake. I'm not saying this is something minor. I'm not saying this is something that should be skipped over, but this one time he tests positive, and now I go back down his entire career and says, well, I think he was positive this entire time, right? There's no reason for me to think that. So this isn't like a Roy Jones situation. Roy Jones tested positive for steroids, like straight up steroids, like 6 times the normal amount. We'll also talk about the drug he took and, you know, why he took it, maybe in a later video. But so yeah, I don't want to just go back and say, well, oh, that makes sense. This is why he knocked out this guy. This is why he knocked out him. This is why he did this and that. No. I'm not gonna do that, right? I think Johnny Beck is a great fighter. I think you would be kind of ignorant to say he isn't a great fighter. We know Johnny Beck's a great fighter. He's made a really bad mistake here. Really bad. Like, bad is an understatement. This is a terrible look for a guy who is struggling to make weight, a guy who's been struggling to make fights. He's struggling to build himself a legitimate fan base. He's starting to slowly build himself some momentum. Like, as you can see, he grabs the WBO title late in 22. He fights Steven Butler, knocks him out. Then he grabs the IBF title late in 23, and then he's defending those titles. And he's only defended the unified titles twice. So he's building this momentum for himself. He's really getting his name out there. More and more people are starting to recognize Mr. Johnny Beck Ali Mahanila as a legitimate opponent for the pound-for-pound titan, the pound-for-pound great Terrence Crawford. And then this happens in the biggest payday and the biggest fight of his life. This is bad, man. It's really, really bad. I feel bad for Johnny Beck. It is what it is. He did what he did. But I feel bad for the fans. I was supposed to go to this fight. We had the government lockdown. I was very on edge about booking my flight, but I was supposed to go to this fight, and so now I feel bad for the fans who are going. I think this was the most intriguing fight on the card. This was, for the three belts. This was 2 title holders, and then it's always better to see the bigger guys slow down the 160 guys. And I'm not trying to, crap on the 130 guys, but the 160 plus guys kind of bring more of a spectacle to the sport. And I feel bad for the fans who called off maybe to fly to San Antonio and see, Johnny Beck, because I was gonna be one of those guys. I was really going to see Johnny Beck. I don't give a damn about no Lamont Roach. I like Stephen Fulton, but I'm not missing days of work to go watch Stephen Fulton fight. It was really for Johnny Beck. So very unfortunate situation. We'll talk more about it later today on the channel. We'll be talking about it on TikTok a bit. This morning, Terrence Crawford also got stripped of his WBC title for failure to pay the sanctioning fees, but boxing is kind of in a mess. It's kind of in a scramble right now. We had a great weekend on that Ring 4, but right now we're kind of falling apart. You boys let me know, how do y'all feel about this whole Johnny Beck situation? Hope to see you boys in the next one. Peace out.